This is a different one than the other ones because no presentation at all. So we're just winging it with this one. I hope you guys have been paying attention to Vladimir's session, and you might have some signals that you came up with or you're struggling with already with your current build. And let's just build them here right now, so you can see my thought processes, take a peek into my brain, how I would build stuff, and how we come to a solution. Do we have any volunteers? Do we have someone who says, all right, really focusing on this working? How many of you guys are using Clay already? 3, 4? You're happy with how it's working? It's going good? Have the pro plan? Syncing into HubSpot? Yeah? Okay.
In the session for lunch, we talked about signals, and into the bow tie, and one of the steps was competitor insights as well.
Mm-hmm.
And although we know our competitor obviously by name and by heart, we haven't looked into building signals or constantly monitoring their geo-presence, funding rounds, or other signals you can think of. So perhaps Clay could be an opportunity to also build out like a competitor dashboard, competitor insight tool.
Yep.
That would be useful.
Yeah, sure. Do you have a name for me that we can use?
I'm sure like a trade tracker could be an option. Yeah, for instance.
Alright, let's just use this. Everything starts in Clay, everything starts with a domain. It's the easiest way to go. Let's go to this. Start a new table. Let's just start blank. Right, what kind of things do you want to look into? Funding rounds, I guess?
Funding rounds, or perhaps new markets entered, or postings on social regarding new clients.
Then we might need to add a person from their LinkedIn. Let's see. What was it? Do we have anything here? I guess this one. Do you want to do this? Let's double check it. Let's just do people. Do they repost anything of their thought leaders? Do they repost anything themselves? So I would just check, alright, are they reposting anything of their own employees? Or is everything posted from the main page? Most of it seems to be posted for the main page. In this case, let's get some traction. So this is a summit. This is a travel scene. So there could be a lot of people in here.
Attending or hosting? I'm not sure.
So maybe let's talk through what we want to accomplish here. So basically we want to see on our competitors how they're expanding, what they're doing, right? We can do a couple of things. So what we could do is take a look at all of the posts that are coming from their channel, and then scrape those posts for names of companies, for example. That would be one thing to see if they have new connections. We could also have a look at their followers and see how they're growing, or if their account executives are connecting with new people in the market, right? This would be direct monitoring to see like their spread of what's going on with their companies. But you're also looking for maybe context signals on your competitors themselves, like funding rounds, if they open new offices, if they have mergers or acquisition, if people are changing jobs, something like this. You're trying to build like a landscape of your competitors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting angle. What can you show, Lars, on
just a basic thing. So what I did is I grabbed this post. What you can do is with your own post, with any post that's open, you can copy the link and put it straight into Clay. You can get all the likes, comments, whatever, reactions of the whole post, and you can monitor this. So if you would do a big post of yourself, you can upload this link and just let this run daily or whenever it comes in. Based on this list, you can do anything you'd like. So you have the LinkedIn profile over here, maybe search for the company based on that, then search for the data. Yeah, anything in specific that you would normally search for?
So in this case, you're getting all the people that reacted to the post, but can you then scrape the post itself to look for example, a company name, or can you create a clay
in this post?
And the post itself, yeah.
I would do Epify for that, I guess. So there's a lot of things outside of Clay that we can use for this. In my experience, if you want to scrape anything, use Epify. Epify has any LinkedIn, Google Maps, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you'd like. So in this case, I would go for, I think it's still in here. Let's see. Don't know if this works. Let's just try it. Yeah, so in this case we could scrape this post. This is successfully. This is a third-party tool, and here you get all the data from that scrape. You can connect Epify to Clay for free. And then you import from this actor. So let's continue for this. You can add open task, or you can choose specific run for this. We did this one, and the last run we need is this. So other data I just came from that one post is now within Clay. So as you can see, here is all the full job post, everything the same, everyone that contributed to it, everyone that's liked it, everyone that's commented. Other data you would need to then manipulate this and do further enrichments on. Yeah. Anything else for a specific thing that you want to monitor?
I guess you could also monitor, for example, news where they're mentioned to get information on expansions or stuff that's going on from them. HubSpot and I think Salesforce as well also give you intelligence within their CRM, so you could enable this company as a tracked company, and you could get some of the basics, like if they open a new office or if they get funding or if they have leadership changes, then these are simple alerts that you could get already in your CRM.
Yeah, useful.
And you could also open to new roles.
I'm sorry?
New roles like job.
Job roles, yeah, exactly. On C-level, for instance, or if they acquire a new sales executive.
Yeah,
new
because
sales
that's how
lead.
you see if you're going to a new vertical. Or to
Yeah,
another
exactly.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, job posts.
Good one.
Let's see.
Also, if they open an office, usually they'll announce it or they'll.
Yeah, so find active job openings is basic within Clay itself. So based on, I don't know if we need company domain, should be fine. You could add specific keywords. Don't know if it's really necessary. Just take the bulk, because normally, yeah, I don't know how big of the companies are that you're going after, but if they have like 10 open vacancies, it's just better to get everything and just filter them out afterwards. Otherwise, you might, yeah, skip some. So let's see if they have any. So 31 jobs found. These are all, yeah, things you can work or manipulate on. You can also add this into a new list. So if you have like, I don't know, maybe you're tracking 10, 15 companies and you want to do specific search for that company, you can take action on this list and write them into a new table. So in this case, let's just create a new table. You could filter out any specific keywords that you don't want within the job titles, and then should send all the 31, send the 10 rows because I set it on 10. well, all the 10 rows are now specific, so separated within the one table. So you could take actions on this, maybe filter it. So if I would do location, if you double click, it adds another field. Based on this field, you might be able to filter it out and then get a super specific view of, okay, this is everything that one company has open. Maybe it's not really super similar to the job titles that we're searching for, but these searches for job titles could indicate that they're moving into a specific direction. Yeah.
Maybe another example, I'm just thinking out loud right now. So we have marketing services basically. What typically interesting clients would be is if they enter a new market. Let's say a German brand wants to expand in the Netherlands, for instance, or an e-commerce web shop wants to expand internationally. So then they usually tend to have budget, and then they come to a company like ours and use our services basically to grow, right? So what can we think of in terms of signals that we could track them?
How big is the list that you're monitoring, or isn't there a list and you want to build a list based on expansions?
Yeah. Basically, I want to build a list. I want to see what companies potentially are expanding into a market that we're active in. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking out loud, right?
Yeah.
And I'm challenging you if there's.
Yeah.
Do you already have an ICP established? Like in terms of firmographics, I mean, like is there a specific sector or company size or something that can help narrow the scope of companies that you want to look after? Because then what you're describing is on these companies, you want to have your own custom contextual signal that maybe checks these companies, what offices they currently have, or what job profiles they currently have, or which countries they're currently active in, and then create another list which tells you new places that they're active in, and then you find the gap between these two lists, and that's your contextual signal, for example.
If you had a list and you would run the enrich company filter on that, if you would click it open, there's always a locations tab. You can monitor these locations. So if anything pops up, if there's another location added, then you can build a signal based on that. So you would rerun this whole table each month based on this, and if this number goes up or down, then you get a signal within HubSpot. And you're like, all right, there's another location added. Might be a good time for us to reach out. Yep.
So there are two things that you talked about in the previous presentation. One was you created a signal based on the picture or movement of company that had.
Yeah, I can show you that one. So that company is doing big batteries for sale. This lot isn't here. No, she's downstairs, I guess. What I did is I got an address. Based on the address, I could get coordinates. Based on the coordinates, I can use Paydoc. Paydoc is a Dutch supplier of data. And based on those coordinates, I could extract the URL. Let me show you. So this is an average bigger table. So as you can see, 89 columns, so full enrichment, whatever. So based on, let's see. So the coordinates, so I had the base coordinates. What I had to do is, I had to do a max and min. So these coordinates just have a formula in here with a max and minus. So you can see, all right, how big is the picture that we want to get. Based on that picture, I make a formula again with the Paydoc data, as you can see. So this is the basic thing. So this is the minimum coordinate we need to the max, the min, the max. Based on that, I just get a URL. As you can see, this one has to check as soda panels. So if I copy this, then you have the screenshot of of this, and I'll feed this into a Gemini image API and just outputs yes or no.
Cool. And then the other one, so you spoke about monitoring traffic on competitor websites. I get the SEMrush volume thing, but what I'm missing, how is that actionable, or how do you use that to do something concrete?
I was just about to ask the same thing. Would would we be able to monitor our, let's say, 500 largest accounts to see if they are looking at our competitor's website? Because that might be a churn risk.
We
Yeah.
just briefly discussed 6 Sense, right?
Yeah, so there's a couple of tools in the market that do this. So 6 Sense and Enrich are two of the tools I know of. And what they do is they buy data from different providers. So let's say, you know, there's blog posts or news article channels or news outlets. All of these places sell their data whenever you accept cookies. Then they know, okay, you landed on a page that is with these meta keys behind it that they then catalog and sell. Google is one other such provider that tells you search results. So any keyword that you type in, if you are on a computer that is connected to your company's VPN or your company's whatever infrastructure, then you can be traced back to that company.
Yeah.
So what these companies then do, like Enrich and 6 Sense, is they buy all of this data, they do the mapping, and then they're able to, on a domain per company, tell you, okay, now these people are searching for these keywords, and you typically give them a list of keywords that you want bulked under your topic. So I would say, company X is my competitor. I would say company X as a search, company X solution, company X whatever. And then this all gets bundled under the topic company X. So whenever someone in that company does any kind of search or goes on a blog belonging to that company, etc., that has that tag, then it'll pop up in my overview as they are now tagged with that topic in the last 30 days, for example, or etc. You can push this data to Clay. We did a build with Enrich, pulling this data into Clay, and then based on that run a different enrichment, but they also sync directly to HubSpot, Salesforce, whatever. The only downside is with that approach is you're really relying on them accepting cookies. So if they're browsing closed off or they have very strict policies, you might not capture all of that data. Netherlands was easier to get this data. Germany, for example, is much more strict when it comes to this kind of data. But there are ways, and it depends on how those companies also behave. And then next to that, you would do LinkedIn. So we would do what we just saw, for example, take a look at if they're connecting, if they're following, if they're going to posts. You could come up with a sort of waterfall algorithm that if any of those actions are taken on their LinkedIn, you can get the same topic. So eventually in your HubSpot, you can combine all of those under one topic, and that's your custom competitor signal.
There's also a thing you can do is you can connect to maybe an account manager of your competitor. Based on that, if you're connected to someone on LinkedIn, you can set up a filter and see who they connected with in the last 30 days. So if you would monitor that, you can see, all right, they're probably in discussion with some competitor of some sort, or maybe this is a new client they're discussing with. You can build a list based on that, and then do sales based on that.
Would you be able to do that so directly in
You would need a scraper for that as well. My advice is nobody does 200 connections per month, so it will be pretty manual step, I guess. So get into the view, set up the filters, copy the whole HTML page, put it into AI, build me a list, then you get all the LinkedIn URLs and then paste them in Clay. For the same client for this, we also set some other signals. These were news outlets, so we're targeting transportation companies in this. They sell batteries, so it's a good signal if a transportation company bought an electric truck. So what we did is monitor trucking websites. So there's super load of trucking blogs and whatever. Most of news outlet websites share an RSS feed. An RSS feed is just a link. So as you can see right here, the normal page is truckstar.nl. In this case, it's a feed. An RSS feed is just an XML version of the page, which has all the data from all the news outlets in there. What you can do is import it straight into Clay. What I then do is I let AI read the full news article. Based on the full news article, I'm extracting the company name. Based on the news article, I'm also extracting the truck name and amount. Is this a relevant one? If yes, then we continue. brief description, and then I'm checking, all right, a Clayagent does research, is this truck truly an electric truck, yes or no? If true, then we continue, and then it funnels down with multiple source outlets into this one table, and this is a perfect table where you can do super specific automated outbound on. Like, hi guys, saw you guys bought a new truck, might want to invest in some smart
Energy management
systems. Yeah. Yeah.
When do you use Clayagent and when do you use OpenAI or Cloud API?
Clayagent, I just use it if I'm working within Clay. I use Claude or OpenAI maybe before Clay.
But I also saw a column with OpenAI.
Oh yeah, so if you use AI, there's a few ways to use AI. You can generate, if you just do a brief description of what you want the prompt to be, it got its own builder, so that if you just put it in here, it creates a full prompt, and you can configure it over here. There's 3 ways of AI you can do, so web research, image generation, and create or modify content. The one you saw was create or modify content. So that doesn't go on the web, it just manipulates the data within Clay itself. So it gets descriptions, reads stuff, so it doesn't have to do, and this is all to do with credits. So as you can see, if I would do a 4.1 mini, it's 0.5. Yeah, it's way less, and if I would do a Clayagent, then it also searches the web, then the credits get bumped up. In my opinion, when you do Clayagent, I have one of the best experiences with 4.1 mini, and it's just 1 credit, so could save you some. Any other stuff, guys?
The other table you made with the LinkedIn URLs, could you maybe show us how in the main table you add an extra column to extract the company name and maybe the job title of the person?
From the LinkedIn URL posts.
Oh yeah, sure.
You got the body, and then maybe do a Clayagent that interprets the
I
text.
don't even think we need a Clayagent for this. So in the first, let's switch to this.
And another thing that's maybe nice is can you display how you show the signals in HubSpot from Clay?
I don't have a dashboard ready to show you guys how to show the signals. So from we need to extract the LinkedIn. So this, you mean this one, or you mean?
Yeah, so from this, maybe the company name, the job title, perhaps contact email.
I'll just check, all right, what's in it itself. So we got the author. So we got this LinkedIn URL. So create based on LinkedIn, it's already there, but let's just add a new one for now. Based on this LinkedIn URL, I can do an average person. That's one's fine. You don't need an email. Just run it. Just set everything off, in my opinion, just to keep the data clean, and you can add it after. So over here, Paul. Now you have the full LinkedIn data of Paul. He has current experience. That's his company, and now we have the LinkedIn data of the company. So based on this, we could now do a company enrichment. And over here, you have the data again, but the different way around.
No, nice.
And this is the same data that I showed you guys before with all the 25 locations again. So it's exactly the same as you would normally do this, but different way around. My advice, always go company to person. In this case, you're looking for person first. So I'll do this. Maybe do a company search, send the companies into a new table. Based on that table, do a search for your key decision maker, and then push that to another table again. So build more of a workflow from top to bottom. So coming in, then the company, then search the people. Don't do everything in one table, is my advice.
And this is really like extracting data from piece to piece. Can you also show how to, for example, have a Clayagent that reads the text, or you give a prompt I think that was also your question, right? Like if you wanted to read a post and search for something, or did it answer the question?
Yeah, this answers my question. But
Okay,
I think that
cool.
could also be interesting. And also interested in, okay, you have a signal, but how do you display it to the salesperson that they will actually action on it?
Yeah, so I could follow up on that and show you a couple of ideas. It's not part of the scope of this session, but what I advise is, yeah, you can either bake it into a score and then you showcase the score, or what I also like to do is I create a multi-select property with tags, with labels, and then I just add the tag whenever a signal comes up. So then in one place you have a collection of tags, color mapped as well, and you can, with a click, just get the whole list of what's been going on in the last 30 days, for example.
Also remove the text.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's no activity on that in the last 30 days, for example, remove the tag, and you manage this via the workflow. But if you do your signals also from HubSpot or Salesforce, they also have their in-house signal structure. So when you click on that, it also shows you like a timeline of what's been going on and what are the signals you track. But you pay separate credits for that to monitor your accounts. But I think it's quite useful. And then I like to combine those signals with my own and then create my own kind of multi-select property that is my menu, basically. Yeah, and then with HubSpot, maybe last thing, but with HubSpot you have Breeze as well. So you can, as a seller, I think it's great to teach sellers to prompt their accounts. So if you see a signal, just ask what's been going on, or give them a workflow that automatically gives them a quick summary in one property of what they need to know about this account. And that saves them time so they don't have to click through it themselves, for instance.
Yeah. Salespeople also love scores. So if you would make a view and give this signal a high score, they just sort the view on score. So if it's at the top, they probably will engage in it. No, it isn't really faking it, but if you want to see how would they pick it up, just make sure the score is high, so they will pick it up. Yeah. Okay.
Other use cases, crazy signals you want to see, or maybe challenges that you currently have in a pipeline phase.
Going good at your companies, I guess now.
Or maybe just a lot to take in. That's also awesome.
Any cool stuff we can
Maybe
show?
some best practice from you guys, like what are the most
Basic signals in Clay are still good. So let's just with all. So job change is a pretty good one, but then again, you're relying on the database of Clay, and everything at the end is a copy of LinkedIn, also Apollo and everything.
Why would you use then a Clay instead of a sales navigator for these kind of things?
This is just for automation purposes. A Sales Navigator isn't really, you could automate Sales Navigator also, but.
So with Sales Navigator, it's much harder to pull that data. You either need some sort of burner account to connect, or you need to connect someone's account to be able to extract that data. And even there, like, you need some workarounds. Sales Navigator is best when the seller is also on top of their list and can react quickly. With Clay, you can put this into a score, for example, very easily. You just pull the information via a direct prompt, or you build it much easier from here.
So you would say maybe even start with Clay and then having your full list, everything ready, and then if you are engaged as sales, then you use Sales Navigator.
Exactly. So what you do is you filter everything out, and if you get the Sales Navigator Advanced license, so 150, then you can import company CSVs. So not person CSVs, but company CSVs. So then you have your tier A list, you import that list into Sales Nav, and based on Sales Nav, you then make a view and let sales monitor that for you.
Yeah, so in terms of best practices, I would say right now Clay would be the best tool for context signals, and really spend time on the ICP and understanding what are factors of a company that make it super valuable to talk to you right now. Because if you do that right, it's going to have a big effect on everything else that you do in the pipeline. You have a very neat, clean, small list of companies that you know for a fact you're going to have a great pitch for, or you're going to be able to add value to them.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you can always add additional enrichments, new signals. You'll be able to do a lot with HubSpot or with Sales Navigator, but really investing the time to make your target account list very clear, also for marketing to work on. I think that's where the gold or the best practice would be.
And just scroll through the integrations, because there are a lot. Probably some that you might already have been using yourself, and then it's just easy to connect everything to this, to put all the data into one source, manipulate it, enrich it, and then send it to HubSpot or an alternative CRM. Yeah, there are a lot. One of the best things with Clay is, so you can, for searching emails or whatever, if I would search for an email of one person, let's see, let's say this guy, do we have a domain? And there's a domain in the company, so it should be. We have full name domain, we don't really need this. We do, and we have, so. Yeah. The waterfall enrichment is really good within Clay. So we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 data providers to find an email. And normally you get one, you get the API, you get the cost, and if you look at this, it splits it all out. So if one source can't find it, we're moving on to the next source. And so we continuing until we do or do not have found the email. So you can combine everything into one place and use different sources for, pretty cheap, because you just pay with credits and you use what you use. If you get a deal room API, it's, I don't know, 5K or something, and you can just use it within there.
The amount of credits charged is not dependent on the amount of sources that goes through.
Every source charges their own amount of credits. So if I would go into the configuration, you can also work with that. So if I would go into edit column and do the full configuration, you can see all the data sources that we're using. If you're saying, all right, Smarty is too expensive for me, we just delete it. Or maybe drop contact is the best one, we move it to the top. And that will be the one first as well. So you can,
Mobile phone numbers?
Same. So mobile phone works exactly the same. You can, I don't know how many images are in there. So mobile phone global is fine. This is also good.
I've also seen people connecting APIs to Clay, like of Lucia or
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same thing, but then you don't get charged to Clay.
Yeah, so you can also add your open API, so you open AI. Every API key that you use with, and there is a tool within there, you can add your own keys as well. And if there isn't an integration, you do need the 400 plus subscription, but then you can do manual HTTP requests. So for, let's see, for this company, what I did was I want to check, do they run Microsoft or Google based on what we're selling. And what I did is just do HTTP requests to the DMARC settings. So let's see if this loads up. So these are just HTTP requests. And you can set up the full configuration just in here. So body, method, get post, whatever you'd like. And just put it in there. So if there's anything restricted with out of Clay that you're not bound to just the tools that are within. You can connect other things as well.
Did you connect Clay with Gong?
Gong is integrated within Clay.
What signals did you get?
Let's see. So let's do view all. Not directly with this, but I imagine Gong can set up some automations within Gong itself. I think it would be possible, but not like just plug and play.
The Gong has some API partner solutions which help you to draw it up. Then in other third-party solutions, you really pull it out of mass number, which is probably what you're aiming for. Otherwise, you have to sort of build around the API and build something yourself.
Mm.
Or with the data extractor.
With the data structure, yeah. But then you have to
Mm.
manually.
Do you do anything with Gong and sentiment sending it to HubSpot?
Not yet.
Because that's a nice thing about Clay. You can just, any list you want that you build in HubSpot, if you have the connection, you can just put it straight into Clay. So let's say workbook. Let's say import for CRM, then HubSpot, load, and then any object that you have, you can pull all the list straight from daily that you have within HubSpot. So if you want to send anything from HubSpot within a specific list or with specific filters and without having the data hub, then you can build lists straight from this and then maybe sync it daily. So there could be a workaround for sure. Yep. Yep. I'm getting the cutoff from Rutger.
Yep.
Very strict guy. So. All right, thanks guys. Next session is what, Rutger, beneden? Downstairs? Okay. All right.
Cool. Thank you. Good stuff.
Yep.
If you build a data